Parents whose kids went on to be porn stars, prostitutes, etc., are you proud of them? Why or why not? Looks like there hasn't been a single reply from the people you are actually asking. My mom was a prostitute the Dallas-Fort Worth area when I was growing up. I would often be with her as she went on mommy adventures. I had a backpack full of toys and books, so it wasn't a huge deal. Most dudes didn't give a fluff, and it kinda worked out for the Bet Street the time. Mom was a big meth addict but loved me. I always knew that mommy adventures led to McDonald's the next day, so I didn't give a garbage about it. Looking back, it didn't fluff me up as an adult to Bad and its niece, knowing even before she got her fix that she would make sure I had a 6-piece nugget meal first. I recently found out my stepmom was a prostitute and that my dad was a customer. NGL, I was very grossed out at first, but now I see that they really love each other. Really should have used the serious tag for this one. This is possibly the first post I've ever come across where I appear to be the only person qualified to comment. Kinda. While my daughter isn't a prostitute or a porn star, she is a stripper. She has always been a good dancer. We took her to ballet lessons as a child and she won competitions for modern dance in her teens. She has a very fit body that most men would desire and most women would envy. When she was 19, she came to her mother and I and told us she was going to work in the strip club. At first we were apprehensive about our little girl letting seedy men drool over her body, but her mother has visited the bar and assured me it's not actually that bad. The bar has a no-touching rule and TBH these days I'm actually fine with it. She once asked why I had a problem with it. I told her I felt she was being taken advantage of by strange men. She replied that if anything it was the other way round. She was taken advantage of them, parting them in large amounts of their cash in exchange for allowing them to look at her body. That was a turning point for me. She works 3 nights a week and regularly makes over £1,000 per weekend. She has traveled all over Europe working summer seasons in different resorts. She's 24 now and in a steady relationship. She's paid a down payment on a house and drives a very nice car. I don't believe she was academically blessed enough to have been this successful in any other career, so she's made the most of what she had to work with, and for that I guess I am proud of her. I'm expecting a whole lot of not a parent S and not my kid but S in this one. I respect them and their paychecks. Some I know are making a ridiculous amount equivalent to annual salaries in a month. I had a church member whose daughter was a porn actress. The mother was a big conservative PETA at church, complaining about any mention of homosexuality or impropriety and reporting to upper levels of the church, I'm talking above the church itself, to the regional or statewide management. She never mentioned her daughter, but given how venomously she opposed moral scandal, it makes sense that she was overcompensating for her family. She eventually died of cancer, and the unfortunate but common rumor was that her cancer was a result of her hateful life. Speaking as the child, they are super proud of me now, and I'm about to pop out their second grandchild in 2 years. I'm an ex-worker who stopped over 13 years ago. I went on to forge a quite respectable corporate career, get my garbage together, buy a home and car, get married, etc. My in-laws also know what I used to do and couldn't give a rat's butt and love me to pieces too. Not a parent, but we recently discovered someone. I don't want to be too specific because it's not my place to be talking about this, and I haven't told anyone before, in my family as a prostitute. When her dad found out, it completely broke his heart. Apparently she was just doing it for the money, which makes no sense because her dad has a lot of money, she didn't need to be doing that. He asked her to please stop and is trying to help her. We don't know for sure if she has stopped. All I know is that it destroyed her FatherReddit because a lot of people have been commenting on these two things. 1. Her dad is not a controlling person. The reason he felt heartbroken and destroyed is because imagine what it feels like to find out your daughter has been doing that for years and years. Her lifestyle also included drugs and hanging out with the wrong people. He's also an older man, he's in his mid-60s, so he has a completely different outlook on these type of things. Younger people tend to be more open and accepting towards these things, but not older people. And you have to consider that being a prostitute is illegal and the people who hook up with them are not exactly the ones you'd want to be near. I think her dad was just scared and deeply worried about everything. You have to put yourself in his shoes too. He helped her with everything after he found out. Even got her a job and helped her get more money. 2. She didn't do this because she was tired of being dependent on her father. She made loads of money from what she did but still used her dad's credit cards. We don't know the reason behind it, we may never find out, but I think she just used to hang out with the wrong people and got involved in this. Maybe she tried it a couple of times and got into it. Who knows? I drove with Lyft in Las Vegas for a few months and I picked up a gay porn star where he called his mom on speaker to tell her about how he was just cast in 2 pornos. She was very proud of him from what I heard, as he was getting paid, and he had moved to Vegas from a small European town to pursue porn. My little brother, but I raised him so I'm gonna assume it still counts. I'm proud of him. I didn't know about his activities until after he'd already left the game, when my twin brother found out not so subtly a few years ago and freaked the hell out, the poor man. He's still my little brother, and my kid, and there's basically nothing any of them can do that would change my feelings on the matter. He did what he wanted and made a garbage ton of money doing it, and now he does what he loves and is raising his daughter with his boyfriend, and between the two of them they get to live pretty comfortably because of it. I had a coworker whose teenage daughter became a hooker when she was in high school. It is safe to say her mom and stepdad were not proud of her. Middle class, suburbs, seemed to have a good life, but the girl and the mom were always just so angry at each other. I could tell when the girl called because her mom's voice would instantly change to fury. I mean, she would be snarling into the phone and I could hear the girl screaming at her. Anyway, the girl moved out at 16 thanks to a sugar daddy she had found. She kept up her side business pretty openly. And it turns out a tiny, beautiful blonde girl who looks like she's 12. Can make really good money. She was murdered in her apartment after about 6 months. The police had no leads, and I don't think they tried very hard. And her parents refused to talk to the press or give them a photo. I was 19 at the time and I was baffled by the whole thing. Now I look back at the stepdad and I wonder, what would make a girl that age so desperate to get out of her house, and what would make her and her mom hate each other? I hope I am wrong. Not a parent, but 2 of my good friends are happy fun-time workers. One is a porn star, and the other is a hooker. I'm not particularly proud of them, but I respect their choices as long as they're both careful. I almost became a happy fun-time worker a few years ago when I was desperate to get away from my abusive family, and even though I didn't end up doing it, it isn't something you take lightly. Even my porn star friend says that even though she looks like she's enjoying it on film, she doesn't really like it most of the time and she's not proud of what she does. My hooker friend on the other hand is proud as garbage and her parents know what she does. They support her as long as she's happy and healthy. I'm not old enough to have children of that age, but a good friend who is 10 years older than I am has a 20 or 21-year-old daughter that is currently a very well-known adult film star. He tolerates it though he wishes she would have done something else with her life. Me. I've seen a few videos. Makes me proud. Edit, sorry guys, I am not providing her name. Then people might track down the father and other stuff. Also, I doubt he'd care for me discussing his daughter on Reddit. A little different reply. Trying to keep it SFW. Knew a cam girl that lives local to the prawn industry in California. This is simply what she told me, so unless others back any of this up, that is all it is, talk from one person. Her parents don't approve. She says the good, safe job is dominatrix. You can tell them what to do and the least happy fun time involved since you control that. She got tired of faking being a dominant personality so went back to regular cam work. She as a cam girls uses a lot of camera tricks to make it look like she is performing with toys because otherwise you'd just be sore all the time. She told me many of the women that do heavy bottom work in group prawn don't last long and live wearing diapers from stretching. Disease is rampant there and everyone knows, but people just stay quiet to keep things going and not to break the illusion. She is constantly offered airplane tickets and chances to go meet IRL. Lots of clubs there are mixed with the industry, so many go work privately for high pay, but lots of heavy BDSM and abuse is tried and the clients try to push you to do it. She gets regulars and tries to keep them as boyfriends. That way it is more talking and date night than having to perform the whole time. She says she is a loser and has no work ethic, and this is simply the easiest way for her to earn money. I'm not saying this is true of anyone else. It is just why she does it. This is simply what she told me, take it for what it is. I met her randomly here because I tried to cheer her up on a suicide post. In the middle of the weeks we spoke she did try to commit suicide and I'm the one she called from the hospital. It was an odd month to say the least. I still hide the fact that I work in prawn from my parents.